Can you imagine your darkest moment? The lowest moment? Welcome to Live It. My name is Sam, and this is your chance to take this last weekend's message and apply it to your life and get it in the nitty-gritty of our everyday lives. But I'm asking you that question. Can you imagine those dark moments and how those felt? There's this moment when this guy named Paul, he's the Apostle Paul, he finds himself in this really dark moment. He's in this jail cell. He's chained up. He's got other prisoners around him. They're basically in the lowest of low moments. You can imagine it's dark, it's dingy, it's shackled, it's cold. It's not a fun place to be. Except even in this lowest moment, there's this crazy thing that happens. It's about midnight, and the prisoners, with Paul basically leading the way, is singing these songs of worship. They're worshiping together. And as the clock strikes midnight, there's this earthquake that shatters everything. Literally, their shackles come off, and they're free, these prisoners. Now the prisoner guard wakes up to this earthquake, freaks out, looks, and it seems like everybody's gone. And so he takes his sword and he begins to get ready to fall on it, because it would be so dishonorable to lose these prisoners. And just at the last moment, Paul, after having been freed from this dark, dark moment, he yells out, "Stop! Wait, don't do it! We're all here! Get the lights!" And so the prison guard gets the lights, and then he falls at the feet of Paul, and he says, "What must I do to be saved?" What a dark moment. But it gets me thinking. It gets me thinking because one of the places and one of the moments, one of the times when church and faith in Jesus and time spent together worshiping God can be the most powerful is in those dark moments. It's in those moments when it feels like maybe there isn't a lot of hope. Maybe there isn't something to look forward to. Maybe the light just seems a little too dim. It's in those moments when worship and kindness and character can come through so strongly and make all the difference. So, like Pastor Erica said this past weekend, the church has left the building for a bit. And it'll be back in the building soon enough. But have you considered that during this time, it might be your turn to be like Paul? This is like the moment, right? That you can worship when things seem a little dim. That you can have people around you, the people in your life, and you can hear and see and experience their difficulties and struggles, and you can worship in the midst of it with them. You can have character like Paul did when the prison guard could have just ended his life. He chose to stop him, even though it could have imprisoned him further. And instead, he cares for this man, and the man ends up saved and baptized and changed because of it. Character matters in these moments. And in addition to that, you can show kindness like he does. To lead a group of people in having hope in some of the darkest moments. The church may have left the building, but maybe that's some of the best places for it to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. To be the church out and about in our everyday lives. So as we think about living it this week, what I want to encourage us to do is to think about these things, to ask yourself, when you're at your lowest moments in life, is it your first or last inclination to worship? And why? Because worship for God, it can not only be this thing that we do out of gratitude, it can be this thing that we do when we need hope the most. The second thing I want you to think about and ask yourself is how has God impacted your life in those low moments in your past? Maybe there's been a moment in your past when things have been so difficult and hard, and that's the place that God met you. Maybe you're the person that can help someone meet God in their lowest moment right now. And then finally, how might your character and kindness and worship during difficult times impact those around you? And we have no way of really fathoming just how much the way that we act toward others can have an eternal impact on them, even with the smallest little seeds of actions. Ask yourself those questions and consider them for yourself. And then I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to be like Paul, who chose to have character and kindness and to worship even if in life's lowest, most difficult moments. So as we experience this pandemic right now in the midst of a Christmas season, I encourage you that even when there are those difficult times where maybe there's some sadness, that you could point the way towards Jesus. That you could be the one who is like the church outside the building, meeting people right where they're at. Thanks for living it with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week.